you wanna be free when you're standing on the edge of time? One word's all I need to relieve you of your rising greed. Don't you wanna be free when your life's turning upside down? Let me show you the ways to go when all direction is lost. I cannot be all you need. I promise to be by your side, to help you set your mind at ease. For once I will not run and hide. I said it time and time and again. If you want, I can be your friend. Don't you wanna be free to forget where your life should be? For once, stand up for what's right and be true to the ones you need. Don't you wanna be free and to never be afraid again? This time I will not let you go. I'll be your shelter from harm. I cannot be all you need. I promise to be by your side, to help you set your mind at ease. For once I will not run and hide. I said it time and time and again. If you want, I can be your friend.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies. How are you this morning? Sorry I didn't get a chance to change my opening picture. I really wanted to, but sometimes I feel like I'm still in school after all these years and I'm trying to get my homework done right before class starts. Yeah, that was me. Somehow I always did well, but there was always stress right before the presentation, right before the homework needed to be passed in. So I will change it for the next one. But it was still relatively new because that was from my daughter's hiking out in the Grand Canyon. I think I had shared that. My youngest daughter just got back yesterday morning actually, and she had a great time. She had a great time with her sister, and my youngest daughter is training for an Ironman. So my youngest daughter is quite athletic. She's quite, has the endurance, but she came home completely exhausted. She's like, I don't know how Courtney does it. So just a lot of hiking. Oh, and I'll show it on Sunday. I want to show you what their hiking is. It's certainly not what you and I think as hiking, but I'll save that video for Sunday because she didn't send it to me yet. So let me just see who is in the chat. I think this morning is all us ladies. Sally, Rachel, Cheryl, CL. And yes, if we could all just take a minute and send really positive energy prayers to Sally. She's certainly been on quite the health journey the last few days. And she's going to see another doctor this morning. So let's hope that she's on the path of recovery. Sometimes these doctors, sometimes they want to keep you there to rack up that bill, and then there's other times they can't wait to get you out of the hospital. So, but our thoughts are with you this morning, Sally. So just, and actually I just started reading a book that I may do a live on at some point, but I just started it. I don't know if anybody's read it, The Power of Eight, and it's basically talking about the power of intention. And I don't quite know why 8 seems to be the magic number. I'm hearing 8 and 12, but when there's a group of people that get together, we've heard that about prayer, right? It literally can move the needle. It literally can change things. So you have all our good prayers and thoughts this morning, Sally. Hi, Tyler. How are you, hon? You are the only male. So you are surrounded by all women this morning, Tyler. Hey, Em. I'm glad you could drop in. So this morning, well, you know what? Mike is not here. Mike should know what happens when he doesn't show up and doesn't tell us he's not going to show up, but maybe he will show up. Anyways, I wanted to give Mike a shout out because he hit his 1,000 subscribers yesterday, and that man has certainly worked for it. I know a lot of us are working towards it, so I'm not taking away from anything, but he has been working hard. And so kudos to Mike. And if he does show up, I will give him another shout out. And also just Sally, she is 8 hours away from full monetization. 8 hours, which she'll probably get tomorrow, to be honest, in her live stream. But if anybody has any extra time today and wants to show Sally some love, she only needs 8 hours. So thank you, Sally. You'll text him. He should know better, right? Poor guy didn't show up to one live stream, just one, and we were all over him. And not because we wanted him to be on our live stream, but just Mike shows up to every live stream. And when he's not here, we worry about him. So doctors need to be informed about nutrition. It has a lot to do with pain. It certainly does. And I'm only parroting what I've heard, and maybe you know better, Cheryl, and I also see that Coach is in the chat now, so she probably knows better. But they don't get a lot of education on that. They don't get a lot of education on what prayer does either for healing. It's all about what pharmaceuticals can typically do, what the different procedures can typically do. So you're 100% on, Cheryl. I've played all her playlist on the TV. Watch the one with the puppies. Thank you, CL. You're awesome. You're awesome. Oh, there he is. Mike, we're about to send out the cavalry there. So, but I wanted to give you a shout out because you just hit 1,000 yesterday. So we just want to love on you and shine some light on you. Hey, Rhonda. How are you, hon? Thank you for popping in. I know this is a tough time, but I like to do one at night and one in the morning, so I appreciate you just taking a minute to pop in. And I know I saw Coach in here, but I don't think I gave her a proper shout out. Hey, Coach. How are you, hon? Thank you for dropping in. Daryl. So now, Tyler, you're not alone. You got 2 other men here with you. It started out all women, and then Tyler. So we got a couple guys in here now. But what I wanted to talk about this morning quickly before we just keep going back into the chat, and it's, well, first of all, I did a quick video yesterday just about I'm feeling the shift. And the thing is when reading through the comments last night, I'm not the only one feeling this shift. So as Dana had said in her comment, let the shift begin. I do think we should let the shift begin. I think the world needs it. But what I wanted to talk about this morning is I've had quite a few conversations, I'd say over the last week and a half or so, 2 weeks, about people not wanting to, I guess, just be excited about their accomplishments. I can't think of the words now that I want to say, but they feel like, oh, I don't want to shout out where I'm at, what I've done. And I'm talking on and off YouTube. So it's amazing how when there's one message out there, it seems to come in from every direction. But people so often think that if they let their light shine, that's going to dim somebody else's light. And I tell people all the time, no, it's not. You cannot dim your light every time you walk into the room. If somebody else's lights, dims because yours shines, that's on them. That's really on them. So I think we need to learn how to be who we really are. And if we want to shout out an accomplishment we've done, I think you have to. And it made me think of something Ram Dass had written once, and he called it the somebody suit. And it's so true. Doesn't matter where we're going, right? We leave our house, we're going to see our in-laws, we're going to school, we're going to work. Doesn't matter. It's like we leave our true self at the door and we put on this somebody suit, this mask of who we think or who we have been taught that the world wants us to be, or who even people in our own circle think we should be. And I think that's one of the reasons sometimes we see so much disconnect and we see so much uneasiness, sadness, is because we are not being true to who we really are. And there was actually, I don't know if I did print it out, there's actually a research by both Harvard and I believe it was Stanford. And both Harvard and Stanford researchers have studied the relationship between authenticity and chronic stress. And what they found is striking. And then the Harvard Business School spent nearly a decade studying inauthenticity and found clear links to increased stress, burnout, and even poor performance. Her research, Francesca Gino, her research showed that when people are able to bring their strength, their real selves, to what they do, engagement goes up and exhaustion goes down. A study published in the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology found that people who consistently suppress who they truly are experience significantly higher levels of anxiety, emotional exhaustion, and those who live in alignment with their values, And why this really matters is because the stress isn't coming from your job, it's not coming from finances or even the circumstances. Research consistently points to a deeper source. The ongoing energy drain of pretending to be someone you're not, day after day, leaving yourself at the door, showing up as a version that's slightly off from the real you. And in that gap, that's where the cortisol, they're saying, increases. It's the greatest chronic stress, doesn't necessarily come from our circumstances. It comes from being not who we truly are. So I guess that was the only message, is think about that. Think about what mask maybe you put on when you do leave, right? When you do leave the house. Because your light does not take away from anybody else's. Real humility is allowing yourself to be the instrument you truly are, who God made you to be, right? It's not bragging. It's not showing off. And the other thing is, and I say this all the time on so many different fronts, right, that when you can be who you really are, and whether that's vulnerable, whether that's sad one day, or happy because of an accomplishment, you then become the mirror for somebody else, right? Because that somebody else will reach that accomplishment or have something to rejoice about in their life. And they're going to want their circle of friends to rejoice with them. So you're not doing anybody any favors by shrinking when you walk into the room. So just remember that. That's all. That's my soapbox for the morning. So I'll go back into the chat. Yes, we are hunting Mike down for sure. My doctor's all about nutrition. I get the lecture every visit. Yeah, and you know what, CL, and I was talking to Daniel about this too, and the hard thing is it's harder and harder to find, even when you want to eat good, it's harder and harder to find good food. It really is. Even when you think you're buying organic or the best thing, and I was talking to somebody about this. I don't know if it was on one of Coach's calls, but we were talking about the best thing you could, maybe it was Okies, that to go to a farmer's market, right? And obviously, being up here in New England, you can't do that this time of year. But I'll be honest, I'll go to this. It's a Whole Foods store, and I will say that Whole Foods, at least my store in my town, seems to have gone down a little bit through the years because their produce isn't what it used to be. I don't know. It's just, yes, you try and eat right, but the food isn't always great. And even the food that we ate, and I tell my kids this all the time, right? The food that we ate 30 years ago, 40 years ago, like when they were growing up, is not the same food as today. Even if it's the same packaging, it's not the same. It's not the same. So you really just, you almost have to have a degree in nutrition to understand what you're eating. Hey, Rob. How you doing, hon? I hope I don't have a meeting with you right now. One morning when Rob showed up on my live stream, he popped in because I was supposed to have a call with him right at the same time my live stream was happening. So he was like, I better check this out. So, but he was nice enough not to call me out that day. So, but welcome back, Rob. Thank you so much. We love you, Mike. Sadly, we have to take health in our own hands, understand labs, etc. We can't afford to wait until doc's on board, sadly. 100% right. And actually, Coach, I've taken a step further. I actually go get my own blood work done versus having my doctor, prescribe it or whatever. I would just rather go to Quest Labs myself and get the results, and I'll bring them to my doctor, though I don't go to my doctor very often. But you're right. You sort of got to take it into your own hands. And I don't know, and maybe this is just me, so anybody who knows anything in the medical space, shout out and let me know. But when you see your cholesterol and like the normal is supposed to fall in between, and I don't know what it is now, so just random, X to Y, right? That's the normal. It's like when the majority of the people are in that space, then they move the needle. It's like, well, no, it really should be here and here. So is it because, additional research has shown that they really should move the needle, or is it just because less and less people are being put on these medications? So I don't know. That's what I find out. So sometimes, I'm going to just say it. Sometimes I feel like when you do go to the doctor, they have this clipboard now, this iPad, right? You're lucky if they do look up at you. And I swear they put in all your symptoms or whatever. And at the bottom, just like when you're at a car dealership, it's like, okay, what can I upsell? What can I upsell? What should I be putting these people on? And I speak personally from experience when I went through my breast cancer journey. So at one point, they were talking about the side effects of a medication they wanted me to be on for the rest of my life. And they said, but if you get this side effect, we'll give you this medication. And then they'd talk about the side effects of that. And then we'll give you a medication. I would have been on like 5 different medications. I'm not joking. So I don't know. You said it best, Coach. Just, you got to take it into your own hands. You got to learn. Right? Rob is here. I know. He is a celebrity. If everybody knows, Rob hit the 100,000 mark maybe a month ago. I think about a month ago. But the best part is talk about a man of his word. He kept his word. He said that when he hit 100,000, he was going to jump in the ocean. He was certainly hoping he was going to hit it over the summer months, not in the beginning of February, but he kept his word, and he jumped in the Atlantic Ocean. I believe it was the Atlantic Ocean. yeah, the beginning of February. So I think everybody watching felt cold. Yeah, Rob, 1,000 yesterday. And we also have Sally, somebody else in our community who is 8 hours away from full monetization. So we've got a lot of good stuff going on. Hey, Jen, how are you, hon? You liked that video yesterday? Yeah, it was really short, but I forgot to record it, the vertical. I was going to have it be a short, so it had to go as long form. But yeah, and it was just spur of the moment. It was just what I was feeling. And I think when I talked Sunday, I was going to do less, I guess, scripting. Not that I even script my videos, but more just letting things flow and sort of letting God lead and be my coach. So I got that nudge at the end of my run because I kept thinking about everybody's conversations. And again, people were like, am I doing enough with my channel? I heard that a lot of the last few days. Am I doing the right thing? Do you think I'm using my time the way God would want me to? These are all things that I was hearing, and it's not by accident, right? It's not by accident. So, but thank you, Jen. Thank you for popping in. Yeah. If you go back and read the comments, I was reading them last night. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people were saying, I can feel it. I know what you're talking about. And I believe it was Dana who said, let the shift begin. I'm like, oh, I like that. I think we need a t-shirt that says, let the shift begin. So famous Mike, or are you now famous Sally? Thank you, Rob. You have a big part in helping me get to the 1,000. Thank you so much for all you do, always learning new things from your channel. You know what, Mike? Thank you, because you bring up a good point. I think a lot of people on here know who Rob is, Rob the Maritimer. Talk about being authentic and not scripting and just kind of shooting from the hip, if you would. He's probably the first person that I started following when I wanted to start building my YouTube channel. And I know there's a lot of coaches out there. I know there's a lot of people offering different programs, different courses. But one thing Rob has done, at least since I've known him, which has been about a year, I think, is every week, I don't think he's missed a week, unless maybe he was on vacation, which is rare, he will get on a live stream and he will answer any question you have. He will demonstrate, he'll walk you through things. Now his live streams are getting bigger, so sometimes, he can't get to everybody's questions, but he tries. And if he can't get to somebody's questions, he'll end up doing like a video on it. But so if there's anybody here in this community on this live, if you're still looking to build your channel and you're looking for whether it's encouragement or some of the tactical tools, go check his channel out. He has a lot of great information. And then again, every Tuesday, which to me is priceless, he does a live stream and they go at least 2 hours. I've seen some of them go 3+, but they go usually at least 2 hours. So thanks, Mike. You just popped that thought into my head. Because I think, though I know a lot of people know who he is, I think, Sally, I don't think you've joined any of his live streams yet. So maybe he's Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. So if you haven't, you should. He is on my schedule, but you should check him out. You're exactly right. We need to shout out our accomplishments. 100%. Because you know what? Again, you give somebody else the permission to also do it. Right? Sometimes I feel we just need somebody to take that first step. We need somebody to be courageous enough. So, and also stepping forward like that and being courageous, that does raise your frequency, folks. And you got to remember, that raises your vibration, and the vibration will always precede the manifestation. Will always precede the desire that you're trying to obtain in life, always. So courage is kind of like the turning point from a low vibration to the higher side of vibration, taking that first step. And it doesn't mean you're not going to be afraid. It just means doing it anyways, right? We all know that. Congratulations. Yes, Rachel. He's worked so hard at it. It's a party now. It certainly is, Tyler, except we don't have Scott here. Sally D, hope you get some answers you can act on from your neurologist appointment. That's the key, Jen. Yes. Doctor after doctor just sends her home with a prescription that either doesn't work or she shouldn't be taking. You're 100%. I am always cheering on people. Yes, you are, Sally. You just don't always let us cheer on you back. But you're learning. I'll give you points. You're learning. Hey, Kimberly. Welcome, hun. I'm glad you could pop in. My primary care is I don't know what a DO is. Tell me what a DO is. Maybe I should know, but I don't. We tried to fix my labs naturally for almost a year before we added medication. Well, that's good. And let me back up. I'm not saying there isn't a need for pharmaceuticals. There is. Obviously, there is. I just feel that sometimes they use them too liberally. Okay, I can't say it. Without trying, the natural things first. Our bodies are meant to heal. If you give it the right conditions and the right fuel, they are meant to heal. That's how they're made. And sometimes you can't give it the right conditions. So I do understand, or sometimes things are hereditary. I get it. So I like to hear that, CL, that you've tried so many other things first. That's the right way to go. Cheryl, my friend Sharon, talk about rebounding in your channel all the time. Yes. You bring up a good point. You were doing some rebounding the other day, Cheryl, on one of your videos, wearing the vest. How do you know you're doing it right? How do you know? And I don't have a rebounding, but my friend does. So when I go over there, I've tried doing it a couple times. And I guess I wasn't doing it right with the vest because it didn't feel comfortable on me. It didn't feel right on my lower back. So I'm wondering what I'm doing wrong. I think I left that in a comment once, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I was just thinking about it. That, and the other thing I try and do, and I can only do it when my daughter comes home because I didn't buy one yet, is she has this vibration plate. And I was doing it over the holiday when she was home for break. And once I got used to it, I thought it was actually kind of cool. Like I felt a difference. But she swears by it. She's been doing it every day, other than when she was out in Arizona. She's been doing it every day, she said, and she's noticed a dramatic difference. Now the girl's only 21, so I don't know what difference she's noticing because she's crazy in shape, but she swears by it. Let the light shine. That's right, Michael. That's right. Yesterday at the hospital, they said it was my spinal cord. Well, definitely seeing a neurologist today, Sally. Hopefully you'll get some answers. Hey there. Please tell me your name. Please tell me your name. I want to say it's Carol, but I don't know if that's true. I'm not even sure where I got that. So let me know your first name. I shouted out Mike for his 1,000 and our lovely Lori for her 500. Check out the videos on my channel. Yes, Sally, you spend a lot of time doing commercials for everybody else. You were wonderful, so thank you. Thank you. Sally loves on all of us. She's just like, I don't want to call you a mother hen. That doesn't sound like a very good term, but like a mother. We'll just leave it at that. Oh, is it Carol? Thank you for always shouting out people daily on your channel. Oh, maybe Sally, maybe you told me her name was Carol. Welcome, Carol. Thank you. Thank you for coming. CL, my doctor is, okay, I need to know what a DO is. I love him so much. I take a teaspoon of baking soda every morning because of him, and it has helped me so much with my GI issues. Yes, Mike, the light, the spark, the fire, whatever brings you up. Oh, the baking soda. Yeah, that's a good question. What do you mix it with? Her shorts are cute, whether it's the puppy dogs or I love the one about her anniversary with Daryl. So, hey, Mike, I'm glad you could make it. Going to get your car serviced. Well, I'm glad you could even pop in for a hello. So, you missed my Sunday live stream where I shouted you out because you just, I was feeling a certain calling, a certain nudge, and literally right after all these thoughts were going through my heart, I fall upon your video, came up, and you were literally saying the same thing. So I took that as a God wink. I took that as, one of those synchronicities that I talk about, that we're on the right path. So you were part of that story, Mike. So thank you. 8 ounces of water. I try to pull back the New Jersey in me, but in my Wednesday lives, it comes out with 3 minutes. My true self hasn't scared the viewers yet. No, that's awesome. You kidding, Coach? And I think that's the thing, is when people can be more authentic. Authenticity is one of those high vibes. It's one of those high vibrations. And the best compliment anybody can ever get is when somebody says, wow, that person has good energy. That, it's the best compliment. And it's, it's a high vibration. It's a high frequency. And again, your high vibration precedes your manifestation. So I think we need more authenticity. And I don't like to talk too much about YouTube and the do's and don'ts or anything like that, because it's certainly out of my it's out of my lane. But what I will say, what I heard the other day is that, and it was from Gemini, so take it for what it's worth. But they said the algorithm has gotten so good that even if you're not reading a script, if it sounds like you've sort of memorized a script that was written by AI, or even phrases of a script that was written by AI, it kind of backshelves you. So don't know if it's true. Supposedly that's part of the new algorithm that came out at the end of February. They just said it's gotten so good that, and YouTube is starving for authenticity. That's what it said, starving for authenticity. So take it for what it's worth. Be as authentic as you can. Sally, Mike, I know you both are authentic. You can't get any more authentic than you two. So you guys are doing it all right. Thanks, Rob. Thanks. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. 100%. 100%. And and also, to me, it shows a sense of gratitude, right? You reach this accomplishment. Be grateful that you reached it as well. And one of that ways is just to shout it out, shout it out. Lots of hellos. Everyone is unique and special to the Lord. Nobody has told me what DO is yet, though. I don't know what DO is. Somebody needs to drop it. Uh-oh, am I far behind on my, sadly, if you don't grow yourself or pay at Whole Foods type places, we aren't getting the same nutrition value as we did 30 years ago. I know. And, and I have this conversation with my son. He has a young family, right? He has 2 little children, 13 months and 2 months. And then obviously him and his wife, who are very healthy. But it's harder and harder to buy the right food. They eat a lot of protein. They'll go to the butcher to get their protein. But it's just the cost of food, to put food on the table. I mean, the kids are little, but what's going to happen as they get older? It's hard. And I think I've shared this before, but my husband and I, who are empty nesters, other than when my daughter comes home over break, we spend more money now on food than we did when we were raising our family of 5. So it is crazy. It is nothing to go to the store and spend almost $300 on almost nothing. Almost nothing. So I'm not sure how people do it. What is crazy is all of your meds are all around us and not in the stores. What is crazy? All of your meds are all around us and not in the stores. Yeah. That's a good point, Tyler. That's a good point. Hey, Mouse. I'm glad you could pop in. The medical profession in the UK is sadly captured. Well, same here in the US, so don't feel you're alone. Don't feel you're alone. And it was one of your comments last night on that short video that I had done. I don't know, that I felt connected, that I didn't feel like I was alone. I think yours was one of the first comments that came across, that there is a shift happening, and it's so desperately needed. It just seems like when the doctor comes in to see me, they're in and out, but when I'm waiting, they spend more time in another room. Well, Sally, I do think you scare them, but yeah, if I was there 8 hours and had not seen anybody, I would have lost my mind. And I say that lovingly, that you scared them. You needed to do that. They weren't giving you answers. You always need to be your advocate. If you cannot have somebody there who will stand up for you, you need to do it. You just need to do it. So, and don't be, they're there to service you. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask, what does that mean? Can I take a picture of that? Can I record this so I can, understand it further? Did you see what they said about cancer from the CIA? Which one, Tyler? There's been so many, so I don't know which one specifically you're talking about, but yeah, as the curtain continues to get pulled back, it is amazing. Again, I'll say it, I feel like the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry are in cahoots. So I'll leave it at that. I get my own labs too. Oh, I must be really far behind. That's encouraging, Coach. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for being brave enough to say that. Because I didn't know if I was crazy to do it, but I'd rather just pay, the $200, $300 to get my own labs than, have the doctors get it and then interpret it. Right. Congrats and loving on Rob. That's the first thing they do is give you a pill. 100%. The cholesterol medications didn't help me as much as going vegan. 100%, yes. And the other thing, and I won't say it's a cure-all, but I will say it cures a lot, cut sugar out of your diet. And I know sugar's in everything, but I'm just saying if you could just start with the sweet things that are easy to carve out of your diet, maybe not easy, but if you can get through that sugar headache, if you can get through those cravings the first couple of days, and just carve out desserts, carve out anything like that. But I say that, and I also know I love grapes, and I used to think, oh, I'm eating grapes. It's very, very healthy for you. It's better than, and maybe it's better than an Oreo. But I also found out that grapes are like little sugar bombs, and so you do got to be careful. And the other thing I learned, I'm still learning, and maybe I should have known this, but I didn't. I love those, you ever see in the store the big package of blueberries? Like they're really big blueberries, almost like a size of a grape. And they're so sweet and they're so yummy. Love them. But recently found out that they're injected with stuff to make them that way. Again, I should have realized that, but I didn't. I guess I just thought there was this big blueberry bush somewhere where the sweetest ones grew and they just let them ripen longer. I don't know what I thought. I guess I didn't think. So even when you buy your fruit, anything, you have to be aware. You have to educate yourself, And I've said this before that, we're a spiritual being having a human experience. We're all a soul, but we need this body. It's our vessel to be here. We cannot be here without this vessel. So we have to take care of it. We have to do everything we can to take care of it. And we just celebrated my children's great uncle. He just had his 90th birthday party last week on the 5th. Was it last week? Whenever March 5th was. And 90 years old, still plays golf, still goes out to lunch with his friends once a week, has a girlfriend because his wife passed, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago now, 11 years ago. Still driving, that's what I want. That's what I want. I want to be 90 and I want to be able to be fully independent like that. So, so I am far behind. My last doctor would always prescribe me medications at every appointment. It was crazy. Luckily, my new doctor isn't like that. No, it's not off topic at all. It's not off topic at all. It's what we started in the very beginning because Sally's on the way to see a neurologist. So that's how we sort of went down that rabbit hole. But it's very true. Doing live every day is key to getting those hours. I do 8 lives a week. Yeah. And kudos to you, Sally. I don't know how you get up every morning and do a live every morning at 7 a.m. Eastern. So, but yes, you deserve it. You deserve everything, hon. And I can't wait for you to get that notice that you've hit that monetization. So, big celebration. You're right. He'll always be the best coach. He, she will always be the best coach. Hi, Glenn. I'm glad you could drop in, hon. I don't believe that, Rob. We love on you every Tuesday, so. Yes, 100 person. I'm so far behind, I don't even know what that means anymore, Mike. Why do you think you messed up your channel, Tyler? We should talk about that. Do you go to Rob's lives? I don't know if I see you on Rob's lives on Tuesdays. It's a good place to start. And if you can't make his live, my goodness, I don't know how many videos he has, but he has so many videos. And I believe he said he's starting to put them in a playlist. So maybe if you're just beginning, he might have a playlist for if you're just beginning and go through that. Some of the best advice I've gotten is from him. And I've had multiple coaches, I've told you that, and has spent a lot of money. And I'll say some of the best advice has been from Rob, So, and simple advice. Simple advice. Rob is a great guy, yes. I will run a few hours of your playlist after this live. I need to post more long-form videos because I am getting discouraged and wanting to quit YouTube. Yeah, and I don't know. Again, there was a big algorithm change at the end of February. At least this is what I'm being told. So then I started digging into it a little bit more. It's easy to get discouraged. That was, I think, how I started my live last weekend, is I was discouraged because I finally saw progress. I mean, real progress. I couldn't get my videos over 100 views. And then they started ticking up to 500, 900, over 1,000 views, over 1,500 views. And then they tanked. And now every video I put out is just dead. I can't get it back over 100 views. So just trying to recalibrate. So something was working. So I have to attribute it to the algorithm because I haven't changed. So anyways. So it's easy to give, but you know what, Em? That's when you jump into these communities. That's when you get on, somebody who actually encourages YouTube and teaches YouTube, like a Rob. And there's other people out there, but get on his live streams because then you hear, and not to commiserate with other people that aren't, where they want to be, but to get inspired by people who keep going and people who, they just lift you up. And, I even think this community, as small as it is, we just lift each other up. And that's what you need. Because when I'm down, Sally will lift me up. And then, when she's down, Mike's lifting her. It just... So, and I know I've seen you on Sally's live streams, and you've been on a couple of mine now. So just stay, you don't need to be told this, but just stay as plugged in as you can. And, there's enough, I know my email is in my about section. If you ever just need to talk, just to be told that you're, keep going, keep taking that next right step, reach out. And I think so many people would say that. Another great community, which there's some overlap, is with Jason's, Oki's Eden, his community. We've sort of crossed over a little bit, but when I first started going to his live streams, I love his community. Another one is, and I don't remember her first name, but her channel is Wounds to Wisdom. I've been on a couple of her live streams now, and she has an amazing community too. And I actually learned that she lives in Massachusetts. So even though she's still a couple hours away, she lives closer. Tyler, I like your channel. Keep at it. You see, we need this encouragement. Thank you, CL. Miss M, we all feel that way at times. It's normal. Don't give up. Yes. Yep, we do. I felt that way last week, and it didn't take long before I got myself out of it. But sometimes you do. You need to reach out and call somebody. That lifeline, if you would. Thank you, CL. It's been a blessing for sure. Yeah, Tyler, I love watching, the live streams you have with your son. And I think I say it in every single one. Just the memories that you're making, they're priceless, right? They're priceless. So... And by the way, I hope your wife is feeling well. I hope she's doing good. A DO doctor is emphasizing a whole person approach, body, mind, and soul. Okay. Thank you. I didn't know what DO stands for, but I got it. So a holistic type of person, which is great. Thank you. Thank you, Kimberly. I know a few women with lymphedema that use the vibration plate with positive results. Yeah, you got to get, I don't know if you've ever used it, Kimberly. You got to get used to it. The first time I did, I felt like, I don't know, when I stepped off of it, my body just continued shaking. But and you got to make sure you're near something when you first start so you don't lose your balance. But I like it. I do like it. Oh my goodness, I'm really far behind. It might be too heavy. Weighted vests need to fit properly. Okay. Thank you, Cheryl. It was not my weighted vest, so... that was probably it because it was my friend's, but I figured I'd try it because I had just finished watching one of your videos where you had done the rebounding with the weighted vest. So that's me, always wanting to jump in before really knowing everything. Makes me think of, I don't know, does anybody remember that cartoon, Tennessee Tuxedo, where him and his walrus pal, I don't know what his name was. Well, I don't know what his name was, but they would always jump in and do something and realize they were doing it wrong, and then they would have to go back to the professor, Professor Whoopi or something like that. I don't know. It just made me think of that. I don't know if anybody else remembers that. I've heard of that as well, Kimberly, and had excellent results with the vibration plate. Yeah, I do want to get one, and I guess they're not that expensive. So I just haven't. Doctor of Osteopathy. Thank you, Carol. I'm going to have to look that up now and learn more. Oh, glad you're still here, Mike. You don't know a DO. Thank you. So I don't feel so uneducated. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sick of the fake AI crap, and I went to college for web design and publishing. Well, you must really be sick of it then, Glenn, because I got to move along. Because the creativeness, right, that you spend, your whole life working towards and perfecting, and then you have a tool that comes along. And I'll be honest, when I first started using AI, and it was probably back in 2022 is when I first started using it, when I was in my corporate career, I was impressed. I thought it was great. It made life easy. I could put together, we used to have to do this newsletter for mobile networks, and I could put all the ideas down, but it could help me formulate it. And something that would take me maybe a day to write took me probably a couple hours going back and forth. But now, and you can tell when something is written by AI. So yeah. So, and I think I shared last week that I rarely use AI for my scripts. I do use it for some research, but I'm using it less and less even for thumbnails and titles because I have not been that impressed with them. So maybe it's just tired. Maybe it needs a break. Oh, your niece. Okay. That's pretty cool that you have somebody in the family that you can call. Thank you. Just confirm my idea to shoot my video on Alzheimer's with no notes, just from my heart. The topic has a lot of personal meaning to me. I know my stuff without notes. Yes, Coach, try it. Because you know what? I don't think there's anybody here, probably anybody anywhere, that doesn't know somebody that has not suffered from Alzheimer's. And that, whether it was a direct family member, a friend, a mother of a friend. And, my mother-in-law, my first marriage, my mother-in-law, she was diagnosed at 50, and it was the saddest thing to watch. She passed at 60. It was the saddest thing to watch. Again, I know nothing about anything in the medical space, but I got to believe that some of that has got to do with the food that we're eating, or the stuff that's being put in the food we're eating. And I know some of it's probably hereditary. Again, I'm not making any medical claims. I'm talking about things I know nothing about, but I got to believe that, sugar and some of this stuff that's in our food does not help. I'll put it that way. So I look forward to that one, Coach. Big step for me. I was meant to be here and hear your message. Oh my goodness, Coach. Do you know how good that makes me feel? And I said this to somebody in a comment last night, that I have been through so many seasons in my life, not very easy seasons, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't. But when I hear comments like this, or the person I was responding to last night, it makes everything worth it. So thank you. Thank you for saying that. Now you're going to make me tear up. I remember on the weekends growing up, and we would go to Ryan's Steakhouse, and it was cheaper for $5 than it is getting a week's of food for my family now. 100%. And I bet it was probably better. And I was talking about this last night. Was it last night? Oh, no, it was, I'm part of this accountability pod, and I was talking to these couple of women about it. But even the restaurants, right? These high-end restaurants that we'll go to for special occasions, top of the line, you don't mind spending the money if it's really good. But as time has gone on, the quality, and somebody said maybe it's the chef, and it could be. I'm thinking it's the quality of food. I think everything's just so expensive that even the restaurants have to look at, how to cut cost, because they're already a high-end restaurant. How much higher can you go? So, yeah. And you have a grown family, Tyler, so I'm sure it gets harder and harder. I used to love Ryan's. I've never heard of Ryan's. Thank you for having me. This is a wonderful, supportive place to be. Oh my goodness, Mouse, yes. Feel free to drop your name, but I can keep calling you Mouse too. My company just changed our prescription insurance. They are making everyone go to Costco delivery or Amazon. No other options, or we get off. So messed up. Or we get cut off. Yeah. And a lot of the time, again, I'm going to talk about something I know nothing about, but I'll use my daughter as an example. Ever since she was a baby, she had almost a deadly reaction to albuterol. And when she was first born, they diagnosed her with asthma. And they had put her on albuterol for something, and she had such a bad reaction. We had to bring her back to the hospital. And the doctor's like, well, she can't be on that. She needs to be on, and I don't remember the name of it now, like the actual prescription they suggested. But the pharmacy will automatically put in like this generic thing, which is what albuterol was. It was the generic whatever. And a lot of times they don't tell you. They just fill it with the generic stuff. And in her case, it really hurt her. So now she doesn't have asthma anymore. I mean, the girl's training for an Ironman, so I'm not even sure she ever had asthma, but that's what they diagnosed her with. But if she does need an inhaler for whatever reason when she gets sick, or it takes 24 hours to get this special approval for them to actually fill the prescription as it was written. So yes, they're constantly cutting, and in this case, the generic is not the same as the actual prescription. So, hey, Jason, were your ears ringing? Because I just yelled you out. Just saying how much I love your community. And I know some of our communities have now crossed, but love your community. So I miss the huckleberries we used to pick in the wild as kids. Oh my goodness, I don't know the last time I've ever seen that, Coach. Oh, I didn't know they were injecting blueberries. They have no shame. Yeah. So research it. So those nice, I'm not saying all blueberries, but I like those really big ones that look like I said, like grapes and are so sweet. Yes. Those ones that you buy in the store, at least. You know, I'm sure there are some blueberries that you can pick off a bush that are just ripe perfectly and are super sweet, super big. But the ones in the store that they charge you $10 for this like small container for, yeah, they're poisoning you. I have 2 blueberry bushes. The berries are tart and the bushes don't produce much. They go good in my oatmeal though. Yeah, you're lucky you get them, CL, because we have a couple blueberry bushes up here at the lake, and the birds always get them. You know, I should probably put a net or something around them. We live in Georgia, and my husband hauls fresh blueberries to the place where they get flash frozen. The season lasts about 3 months. They say frozen are better than fresh. Really? So they flash freeze them. So frozen, the ones we buy in the frozen section, is that what you mean, Kimberly? You think they're healthier than for us? I know my daughter gets the frozens all the time, whether it's for her oatmeal or the smoothies that she makes. I've never tried them, though. I'll have to try them. So nice, CL. We used to have raspberry bushes, cherry trees, pear trees. Wow. Yes, I watch Rob. I was trying to, my question asked, however, my answer wasn't popping up. Oh, okay. I love Georgia. We vacation at Jekyll Island. All right, I'm going to fly through these guys because I didn't get through them all the other day, so I want to get through them. I have learned everything from Rob. He is the most authentic creator. Yes, amen, Jen, 100%. He is. And I think that is, whether he believes it or not, I think that's his claim to fame, is he's authentic. He's down to earth. He doesn't try and give you all these, okay, you need to get your hook done in the first 10 seconds. And then after that, you need a cold opening. And then you need an arc. He just says, you know what? Keep their attention. Don't say, hey, this is Lori in the beginning. He just keeps it so simple, right? So simple. Nice, Coach. I have 2 loquat trees, but they haven't produced any fruit yet. They're 6 years old. I grew them from seeds. Well, that's kind of cool, though, that they grew. When do they typically produce, CL? Perlman, we just moved from Brunswick last year, so I know Jekyll well. I am going to go into listening mode. I'm sorry, Em. Thank you. I hope you feel better, sweetie. Rob has the best manager, Peanut. You're right, CL. I would recommend listening to his past live streams while you're doing errands. I listen to them at 1.5 speed and slow down if there's a question that applies to me. Yeah, I know Rob talked about that once too, about listening at normal speed, double speed. but I have to listen to everything at 1.5 speed. It's just how my brain works. So 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 8 ounces of water. Oh. We planted a pear tree here in Missouri. It still has produced sour little pears, but she's getting there. I'm adding fruit to my diet because my ketones run too high. Oh. I was going to say that's a nice problem to have, but that's not necessarily true. So I will reach out to anyone in the future. Thank you. I don't know if you've ever been to Gary Lee's market, but it's the best barbecue we ever had. There's currently so much bitterness out there, probably because of how the world has been orchestrated. It's so nice to be here in space that's calm. Yeah, Mouse, and you probably know this, but everything out there, it's all a charade, right? Nothing is as it seems. Yes, it is. Totally agree. Right here on Highway 82, we visit often. I usually dial 800 Oki to get me back on track when YouTube gets overwhelming. Isn't he inspirational? And he gets out there and he sings, and he does it all. He does it all. He cooks, he sings, he plants, he builds, he encourages, he shouts out. He does it all. I'm jealous. We live in Pittsburgh, and when my wife was pregnant, she was trying to talk to me into driving there to get her barbecue. Thank you, Lori. Yeah, she is doing good. This third child has been a little rough. Well, I can relate. My third child was, my youngest was rough. I couldn't even look at food, couldn't think of food. My husband, who was an engineer, never cooked a day in his life when we got married. Not a day in his life. His mother was that old-fashioned Italian, would never let him in the kitchen, never cooked. He literally had to get a cookbook and learn how to start cooking. And now the guy is amazing, and he loves to cook. He never knew he loves to cook, but he loves to cook. And he's so good. So that's hilarious. The barbecue. Thanks, Coach, for running my videos. Missed some of the chat while I was coming into the hospital. I write desk references. We don't have AI available at work. I do everything. Good for you, CL. And you know what? The other thing I was thinking not too long ago, I think when people are starting to rely on AI too much, I feel like, because you always hear how you got to exercise your brain, right? Well, if we start relying on AI, even for the everyday tasks that we used to do, what's that going to do to our brains? I mean, it's going to make them even more mush. My name is Joe, but I'll answer to anything. All right, Joe. See, it's easier to love on you when when we know your name, Joe. It's hard to tear away from your awesome live. No coincidence my meeting was canceled and I could join you live, but I do have 10 a.m. work meeting. Oh, thank you, Coach. You're probably already gone, but thank you. Thank you. So, yes, I'm just going to, because they're frozen at their optimum ripeness. I'm going to try it, Kimberly. And I know we have some in our freezer at home. Apparently frozen is better because they often have to treat the fresh ones if they're going to ship them anywhere. Oh, very good point. You're right. They spray them. Hi, everyone. I'm out thrifting with my bestie, Sarah, just doing fun stuff today. Allie, that's awesome because you know what? I'm going to end it with this, but when you're having fun, you've always heard, when you're having fun, time flies. It's because you're in the flow. And when you're in the flow, your vibration increases, your frequency increases. You got to be in the flow as much as possible, folks, because again, repetition is key. Your vibration will always precede your manifestation. So I'm sorry, guys, I don't want to keep you, but I do want to, I just want to read from Thoughtuary before I let you go. The 12th. Oh, on Sunday I'll have to share. Most of you folks know about my daughter, got a new van, which is also her home. She travels the country. I think most people knew that because she got in an accident. Anyways, I have to share a story about that on Sunday's Live, about her license plate. So stay tuned for that. March 12th, quick reminder. Stop right now, take a deep breath, drop your shoulders, and release the tension in your stomach. No, really, do this right now. I know you need it. That's all for today. But it's more than enough if you remember to keep doing it. That was a short one today. So again, I appreciate you all so much. We all could be doing something else right now, so it's not lost on me that you decided that I was worth an hour of your time to be here. Sally, my thoughts are with you, hon. Keep me posted, and I hope the rest of you, I will see you through other people's lives, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and you guys have a great weekend if I don't see you, and I'll catch you on the other side on Sunday night. Love you guys.